Most of you have children, and if you don't, it must be because you are too bitter to have one, but I am sure you have siblings. Yet you behave like fools. Millicent was so happy that her twin sister had her back. Mirabelle would always stand up to against this mean bullies until once upon a time, in the coldest hour of one Wednesday morning, a set of twins were born, two beautiful girls into the family of Mr. and Mrs. Joseph in a Cocoa Kingdom. Their father was a successful businessman that traded far and wide. He named the newborn twins Millicent and Mirabelle. As the twins grew, there was a great physical difference between them despite the fact that they were fed the same meal and ate at the same time, yet the twin named Millicent looked too tiny and skinny and tall, while Mirabelle, the other twin, looked psycho. As they grew older, Millicent became the object of mockery for everyone in the village because of her figure. They called her horrible names like skeleton, a jag, which means thin fish, and she would often cry back home, where her parents always do their best to pacify her. Even her twin sister Mirabelle would also give her words of encouragement. No one wanted to be around her. Most social groups in the village rejected her. The few groups that accepted her used every chance they got to humiliate her and laugh at her until she gets tired and fed up and stop attending their meetings. Mirabelle, her twin sister, on the other hand, had so many friends and was a member of various social groups in the village. The only thing that kept Millicent sane in all of this madness was her cooking skills. She was a really wonderful cook, to the extent that whenever she prepares food for her family, everyone ends up licking their hands, her parents praising her for the delicious meal. Her home was really the safe oven for her, but whenever she steps out of the house, the wolves in form of villagers are always there to ridicule her for being skinny. Especially whenever she and her twin sister go to the market, people start to compare, whisper, and gossip her. One afternoon the twins headed to the market to get some food ingredients. Mirabelle, why did you suck Millicent's blood? A fish seller said this while giggling hard, and everyone in the market joined in laughing her. Watch out for the strong wind tomorrow, Millicent, so you don't lose your balance, another person added. Millicent was so sad and dejected she couldn't even utter a word. You should all be ashamed of yourselves, as she fired back angrily. Most of you have children, and if you don't, it must be because you are too bitter to have one, but I am sure you have siblings, yet you behave like fools. Millicent was so happy that her twin sister had her back. Mirabelle would always stand up to against this mean bullies until one day Mirabelle's boyfriend named Timothy came visiting. Timothy is the son of a famous cocoa farmer, and he has been in a love relationship with Mirabelle for the past 2 years. He came to inform her that they won't be getting married anymore because his family are not in support of their union. Why? Am I not good enough for you? Mirabelle asked Timothy in tears. You know you are perfect, but my parents fear your twin sister's skinny gene might manifest on our children if we get married. Mirabelle couldn't believe her relationship came crashing down, and she began to resent her twin sister. She was still crying to sleep every night when she was also sent out of all our social groups because people didn't like how she stood up for her skinny twin sister. Mirabelle blamed all this woes and misfortunes on her sister Millicent and decided she was going to make her life miserable. One day Millicent cooked a delicious meal for the house like she always did, but as Mirabelle came into the kitchen, she poured sand into the pot of food her sister just made. Millicent looked confused. Why did you do that? She screamed. Shut your mouth, skinny witch, as Mirabelle fired back. The following week Millicent fetched a bucket of water and left it in the bathroom to go into her room and get herself changed. Before having her bath, Mirabelle sneaked into the bathroom and poured something into her sister's bathing water. Unknowing to Millicent, she returned and took a bath with the contaminated water. She started to itch all over her body. She scratched herself so bad and screamed loudly. Her parent had to rub her body with palm oil before the itching reduced. Mirabelle was laughing all through, which made Millicent realize her twin sister had done this to her, unlike before when she stood up for her sister in public. Whenever they go to the market, Mirabelle would loudly call Millicent a skinny skeleton in the presence of everyone to make them see and hear she's done standing up for her. This made Millicent so sad, and she cried day and night. Their parents would scold Mirabelle and warn her to desist from humiliating Millicent. She is your twin sister, for crying out loud. I didn't raise you to be this way. Millicent destroyed my life, the love of my life. Timothy left me because of this thin stick, Mirabelle shouted. Their mother, who couldn't believe what she just said, got so angry and slapped Mirabelle hard on her cheek. Mockery and humiliation every day for Millicent from her twin sister Mirabelle and the entire village. But there came a time the twins' village, known as a Cocoa Kingdom, and 2 other neighboring kingdoms named Ogata and Agiliatwa were preparing for a once-in-a-decade contest called the Queen Maiden Competition. For this competition, each kingdom was supposed to put out 3 of their most capable competitives and all beautiful maiden out to represent their kingdom. The villagers in Ikoko started projecting the names of the 3 maidens they like or think would represent their kingdom in the Queen Maiden competition. Some even jokingly mentioned Millicent's name, and they all laughed out mockingly. One of them added, "Who will put a skeleton forward to represent you humans?" and they all laughed again. One of the other kingdoms would be hosting this year's competition because Ikoko hosted the last one. Millicent went to fetch water at the village stream one afternoon when she met a man called Jude. Jude is one of the organizers of the Queen Maiden competition from the neighboring kingdom hosting this year's contest, but Millicent didn't know this. Immediately he saw Millicent, he was so thrilled and amazed by her stature. "What beauty is this?" he said to Millicent. "You are blessed with a lovely figure that many people would kill for," Jude added. Millicent looked so confused hearing this word. She felt it was just being sarcastic, but Jude was looking really thrilled, and he told her he was in their village to get the names of the 3 maidens that will be representing them in the upcoming competition. "I am sure your name would be on the list because you look fit for the competition," Jude said confidently, but Millicent told him that that was not going to happen because everyone hated her in the village and wouldn't even think of recommending her for such competition. She also said outside her parent he was the first person to ever think of a stature as good. Everyone else called her skeleton and other bad names. Jude was shocked to hear this and persuaded her to dress well and make sure to come watch the competition even if she wasn't going to partake. Millicent hesitated. Ikoko agreed to show up on the day of the competition. The other 2 kingdoms, Ikoko and Ogata, traveled down to the palace of the host kingdom Ajalayatwa, where the competition would take place. The twins and their parents were also present, all looking radiant and elegant. After the 3 girls representing each kingdom in the competition were called out by the organizers. The organizers also announced that there would be an additional contestant sponsored by the host king himself. One of the privileges the host king enjoys in the Queen Maiden competition is the power to add one more maiden as one of the contestants. Everyone was eager to know the lucky maiden that will be joining the other 9 contestants. The organizers then called out the name of Millicent as the chosen contestant sponsored by the king to join the other maids. She was so shocked, and her fellow villagers were also confused, shocked and jealous of this. Even Mirabelle, her twin sister, was so angry and said, "But what will a drumstick be useful for in this contest?" Millicent's parents were also happy for their girl and started clapping hard and cheering her on. She is still in shock. She hesitated to step out at first, but her parents kept clapping and this boosted her confidence. She stepped out looking so tall and elegant. She had dressed so elegantly and she joined the other 9 maidens. The competition began and the first stage was the cooking contest. The competing maidens were all taxed with cooking traditional dishes. Millicent, who already had superb culinary skills, finished preparing a meal quickly. It was like a walk in the park for her. The judges tasted the meals cooked by the 10 maidens and announced the 5 maidens who did so well and would be proceeding to the next stage of the competition. It was no surprise to hear Millicent as one of the 5 victors. After all, she is a good cook who made delicious meals for her family before the contest. The second stage was about finding a treasure that was hidden in the forest, and the first maiden to return with the hidden treasure would be crowned the Queen Maiden of the 3 kingdoms. The 5 maidens had to swim across a river to get to the forest where the treasure was hidden. Many of the maidens couldn't swim fast enough, but Millicent could swim faster because she was fit and had light weights. She was the fastest swimmer. She got into the forest and started searching all over for the treasure. She searched and 13 minutes in she was still searching. Another maiden named Juliet finished swimming and proceeded to the forest. She saw Millicent and also started searching for the treasure. Few minutes ago, Millicent looked at a direction in the bush and saw a blue shiny treasure. That must be it, she screamed, forgetting it was a competition. The other maiden Juliet heard this and raced over to the treasure direction. It turned into a running competition because now Millicent had to catch up. Both of them ran, but unfortunately for Millicent, a cloth was hooked by a tree branch. She fell to the ground and Juliet got to the treasure before her. But something unexpected happened. Millicent still on the floor. She saw a lot of other blue treasures in the bush. They looked just like the first one she saw, and this made something click in Millicent's head. These blue treasures were a bunch of distractions from the real treasure they had come to find. Millicent stood up and wanted to tell Juliet, the other maiden, but she learned from her previous mistake and decided to keep this discovery to herself. Juliet, on the other hand, raced back to the river bank with the fake treasure and told the 3 other maidens she had found the treasure. They believed her and felt they already lost the competition, so together they swam back to the kingdom. Millicent, still searching the forest, felt water drip on her from above. She looked up and saw a golden box on a tree. It sparkled so much, and this convinced Millicent it was the real treasure they were looking for. Because of her tall figure, she climbed the tree easily and carried the golden box. He opened it and saw several other colors of those blue treasures. She closed the box and journeyed back to the palace. Millicent got to the palace and every single eye was on her. She looked so tired carrying the big box of treasure. Immediately she got to the contest ground. The rest of the contestants, including Efua, was looking at her with so much envy. The organizers unveiled the drawing of the treasure the maidens were supposed to return with, and to Millicent's fellow villagers' surprise, Millicent came back with the exact treasure. She was declared the winner, crowned, and named the Queen Maiden of the Three Kingdoms. She was also given lots of treasures such as gold clothes, and the villagers were shocked at first. Immediately they all started showing her fake affection and apologizing for how they treated her. Her parents were overjoyed, and Mirabelle, her twin sister, felt so ashamed and didn't know what to say to her when they returned home, remembering how much she humiliated her twin sister. Mirabelle decided she would pack her things out of the house because she was so ashamed of herself, but Millicent stopped her. "Why would you leave your family?" as Millicent asked. Mirabelle started crying. "I am so sorry for how I treated you, Millicent. You are my twin sister, but I treated you like an animal. Let me just leave. This shame is too much for me to bear," as Mirabelle cried out loud. "Mirabelle, I can never hate you. We came to this world through our mother's womb on the same day. I love you no matter what. Mirabelle, I've forgiven you." The twin sisters hugged each other and lived happily ever after. The moral lessons of this story are numerous, but a moral lesson that stands out is that we should all embrace ourselves no matter the situation. There is always beauty in being unique or different. When life gives you lemon, turn it to lemonade. Stop listening to the noise in form of mockery or humiliation from other people, because only you can show them what you've got. Always bear in mind that there is a reason God created you in a unique way. Thanks for watching. Please tell us the lesson you learned from this tales, where you are witching from, and do not forget to subscribe to our channel. See you in my next video.